Oh, the lighting's being a little dark today. That's all good. No glasses. Maybe that's part of the lighting. I'm not even sure. Because I'm not feeling the glasses right now. That's for real. All right, let me send out invites. Yay! We'll start our day. And let's check in. How is everybody feeling this morning? All right, let's see here. Okay, and I know, making sure I'm getting everybody. Oh, yep. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, no, that was not at all. Like, wait a minute. Like I've mentioned before, it like shows everybody and their dog. It does not just show the goddesses in the tribe here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So yeah, we're gonna have some funky lighting today, and that's all good. That's all good. I'm really liking my hair today. This is literally bedhead, goddesses. I kid you not. This is literally how good my hair can look just crawling out of bed. Oh, life just gets better and better all the time. What is up? Good, glorious, terrific Tuesday morning, my beloved goddess tribe. I am Rachelle Richard, and I am your most of the time fearless leader. And I say most of the time because I have fears too. Y'all better believe I be pushing through my own shit, okay? I am Rachelle Richard, and I am the founder, CEO, and self-love empowerment coach here at Empowerment Experiences. And there is a hair that just there it went. I watched it land right there on my nose. Yeah, and that's how I roll. Oh, so right now, seriously, oh wow, right now there is so much more. Again, good morning, Goddess Leanne. Surrounding surrender. You know, ego is control. Soul is surrender. Let's break it down most simply that way. I often will hear, and you've seen me do it here on my lives, often hear control in the back of my mind whenever I am in that space of too much control and I need to surrender. I firmly, firmly believe that surrender is one of our greatest lessons to learn. There's so much. Just a moment. It's like I only have one mouth, okay? I can't spill everything all at the one time. Oy vey. Good morning, Goddess Sherry and Goddess Carmen. So this year, so many of you have followed my journey, right? Have followed my journey and this twin flame, working on my business, leaning into my passion, starting TV show, all these things. Incredible. And I know all too well what that challenge is, right? What's a challenge? I'm not going to tell you this time what's a challenge in this group. What do we call a challenge? Where it's been such a challenge. I know the challenge from expanding into that new version of you, from letting go of the old way of being so you can step into your new way of being. I know that challenge because we have been so stuck in our old way. They're programs, they're patterns, they are habits. That's why earlier this year we did the 66-day new habit challenge, which you better believe we're going to do that again at some point. I'm like, oh my goodness, there's just, there's so many things all at once I want to tell you. I'm like, breathe, breathe. I'm like, okay, let's pick a spot here of what's going to come out. So why don't I just start right here, Rachelle? So just now this morning, I had gotten onto my phone to actually check my Facebook story and go, oh, I hadn't put a story up, so let me put a story on. And in checking all the little notifications, one of them, of course, is that stupid little Facebook watch thing, right? And where it recommends videos for you. And the very first video, a gut-wrenching animal video, is about a puppy that was discovered. I better make sure this music is turned down. A puppy that was discovered, and he was just so petrified that he was crying at just the sight of the rescuers. He was maybe a 3 or 4 month old puppy. He wasn't super big. And the actual title of the video was talking about when the puppy surrendered, everything shifted. And that's really what the video was, is someone, I can only imagine, had traumatized this puppy so severely already in its life that he was petrified of humans, petrified. And of course, the rescuers, that's all they wanted to do was help him and save him. There ended up being nothing wrong with him. But the fact is that he was so scared. He was so scared, so untrusting, right? So resistant because of what had happened. And this is what we do. We put up these walls of protection around us because of what happened yesterday. And we continue to have those walls in this illusion of control, that we actually have this control to keep ourselves safe that way. By closing ourselves off, by not allowing ourselves to be open for other things, for love. Because when you close yourself off because of fear, you also close yourself off to love. You close yourself off, period. And it took a little bit of coaxing, but the moment that puppy did surrender, and that's exactly what it did, is it surrendered and everything shifted, and you could feel that. You could feel that. Yesterday, surrender. The very first, well, not the very first, one of the first Instagram posts, twin flame. Why surrender is so important in a twin flame journey. And I'm just sitting here going, because goddesses, let me tell you, as an entrepreneur, I know that space of wanting to be in constant control, of wanting to know what it looks like on the other side. Am I making the right choice? Is this a sound investment? Is this going to get me the ROI that I need to have? All these logistics, when the very root of everything is that the universe has your back. And I'm all emotional. And everything that you want, you can have it. You just have to let yourself receive it. You got to let yourself have it. Because the only person who really is keeping you from it is you, based on the stories that you're telling. The only one that keeps you from experiencing the life that you desire to live is you. By continuing to focus on the fear. Now, I am certainly one to sit here and say that your fear is justified. To be afraid of people because of what they may have done to you, I know. But I know too that if I can go from feeling so untrustworthy of everybody in this world, including myself, being totally closed off, living in a home, in a space that I was so afraid of everything. I had amplified my fears so much that they controlled me, that they kept me from living my life. Because in that state of fear, we have this illusion of control, that if I can keep myself away from these experiences, then I'm protecting myself. You're really hurting yourself. And it took me a long time to see that. That we came into this world to experience and explore this world. Life is up to us to live it. And you don't live it when you have anxiety that is controlling you and keeping you stuck. When I did that trip to India, even right now, this time last year, in fact, this time specific last year, this day, tomorrow, and the day after, things started to ramp up inside me because I was so sure that I wasn't going to get my visa to go to that country because I have a criminal record here in America. I was so scared. I was so scared I was going to have to tell him, because I wanted to tell him that in person. And I'm a hardened criminal, baby, let me tell you. Right. Oh my God. And so all of this anxiety and fear, I almost canceled the trip after spending $1,600 on a plane ticket. I said, oh, I'll just be out the money. I literally almost sabotaged one of the best things that's ever happened in my life because of fear. So what did I do? I surrendered. Goddesses, that is where my mantra comes from. Is last year during these months, as I was preparing and embarking on my manifestation journey to India to meet my twin flame in person. Believe me, I even say twin flame right now, and my own programs still are like, okay, you just sound crazy. Okay, Rachelle, just stop. So I want you all to recognize that I got it too. Because I continue to speak on this because the universe continues to go, hello, give me a sign. Because I'm like, look, what do you want? When you open yourselves up to the universe, when you surrender, you get the answers, you get the guidance, you get the support visibly. Because you're allowing, you're not in that control space. You recognize that you don't have control. When it seems like everything is falling apart, the only thing you can do is throw your hands up and declare, I trust, I surrender, I say yes. Whatever this is, I trust that everything is always working out for me. Because it is. Goddesses, I assure each and every one of you can look and recognize that there were probably times in your life when you should be here, right? But you are. And that is everything. Because your very existence is evidence of your infinite worth. And when we slip into surrender, that's in that space of recognizing that in my limited illusion of control, there's no magic there. There's no miracles there. There's really not a lot of joy, not a lot of happiness there, right? It doesn't feel very good there. Why do you want to stay there? We only stay there because we continue to believe this. That's it. And I know, Leanne, it sounds easy. But when that part of you has, that autopilot part of you has been in control for so long, this is when I talk about that Velcro effect. The oh, Christy! I just looked, I just glanced, and it's 9:27. She always making sure she's here, Leanne. You better believe that shit. You know, she want to make sure that we all know she's here. But this Velcro effect tends to happen. It's no different than a habit of yours, right? When you are attempting, we'll use, for example, to release the addiction to nicotine, right? I've done that. I have definitely released the addiction to nicotine. I have no, especially American cigarettes. Yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you. You're good, Goddess Leanne. You're totally good. Totally good. It's so challenging to peel yourself away from, to unvelcro yourself from this conditioned patterning. It is literally habitual. You do it without thinking. And that's why it can be so challenging, right? Such a massive opportunity for growth, because this has been running on autopilot. And now here you are, the other side of this Velcro piece going, wait a minute here. This shit ain't working. And I'm going to choose to practice my pivot, and I want to go a different direction. So as you begin to pull away, that Velcro effect is like, no, you don't. No, you don't. So that's really why it feels so excruciatingly, intensely challenging, because we have been running on autopilot. But all this is simply to go, well, okay, wait a minute. Anytime I ever learned anything new, of course I'm going to stumble and it's going to look not pretty very well. Right now I hear Abraham talking about us being creators in this world, and they talk about how they compare it to clay, molding clay. I'm like, there's a word here, Rachelle. They compare it to molding clay. And you pick up the lump of clay, and the first time you ever do it, you just drop it on the table, and you're like, because you don't know. You're not skilled. You haven't developed the expertise, the wisdom, the understanding, the strength, the knowing, the awareness of what the process is to achieve that outcome. All right. That seemed to go a little different direction there. Like, okay. Like, where am I going with this? No, I know I'm going with this. After my computer did a little funky thing to me last night, I'm like, I'm keeping my eyeballs on it right now. That's exactly what this journey is. When you are beginning to take your power back from your own mind, because I promise all of you, that is really, truly the most massive, real place that you really have to take your power back from. It is not so much outside of you. It's not. It's right in here. It's right in here. And that's why. Why? Again, this Velcro. So all this is you all have discovered, we all have discovered this entire muscle group we didn't even know we had. Shifting from autopilot to conscious. That's all this is, goddesses. That's all this is. It's no different than you starting a new hobby or again, a new exercise program, right? That shit hurts in the beginning, huh? I mean, I know a soul sister of mine, she even posted on her Instagram today about her yoga and how she'd fallen off on hers. And I went, yeah, me too. It was one of those years. You are not alone if you fell off your shit this year. You are not alone. Most of us seem to have done so. But that simply was to make us stronger, okay? So that we can surrender more and be more loving to ourselves and give ourselves grace. Good morning, Trine! And give ourselves grace, right? Have you said all you wanted to say? Okay. But that's all this is, goddesses. You have this. That's all this is going. So when you want to beat yourself up, go, wait a minute. I'm learning something new here, brand spanking new. You're using a muscle group that we really weren't made aware that we had in our own minds, of being able to intentionally focus and to be the ones in control of our minds instead of our minds being being what's in control of us. So this is why I tell you, the greatest place you have to take your power back is from your own mind. And what surrender represents, ooh, here this comes. What surrender represents is you get fuck out of here. And you just come into here, you just feel in this moment right now, you stop giving it thoughts, you stop trying to solve the problems, stop trying to figure out a solution, stop trying to force that square peg into the round hole, and you just surrender. Because that is what all of these things are, especially this anxiety thing, this fear, this amplified fear. You're focusing on something that's where your power is not. That's what that is your mind has taken you on a trip. Your mind has taken you on a trip because that's what it's been doing for decades, has been the one that's been in control of you. And as you, again, are now taking back your power bit by bit by bit, it's going to get rough. You are truly having an internal battle with yourself right now. Okay? But I promise you, the light always wins. The love always wins. Just keep focused on it. And keep telling yourselves that I am worthy. I do deserve this. And that life does get better. As long as I believe it, life is always getting better. Because what you focus on is what expands. And when we are focusing on things that are amplifying our fear, well, that's exactly what's happening. Amplifying fear and anxiety and stress and overwhelm and confusion and frustration and more fear. It is true, goddesses. Fear really is false evidence appearing real. That this is creating. Because you don't know for sure that that's going to go wrong. And we talk about intuition as well. Sorry. I'm like, oh my gosh, that video this morning made me cry. Right? Let me the fuck out. Right? And that's it. You know, that's exactly what you all are doing, is you are breaking yourselves free from your own internal prison. Okay, Akon, I do not need you in my head either. Right now, all of a sudden, I got Akon in my head. I got locked up. They won't let me out. Locked up. And that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Your own mind. This is why I love Abraham. I love when Abraham says, you don't get in the way of each other's realities. You only get in the way of your own. Because it's true. And when you just surrender the outcome, when you surrender how it's going to come to you, you know what you want and why you want it. And all of this that happens in the meantime are those fears, the anxieties, the doubts, the sabotaging beliefs saying, I'm not good enough. This will never work out. I don't deserve this. Money's the root of all evil. Greedy people or rich people are greedy. Whatever whatever belief you hold that is contradictory to what you desire. That's what stands in your way. And all of those things are in here. All of them. How many times in your life were you afraid of something that was in your next phase of your journey? Such as, I know for me, maybe my first episode on the TV network, Awake TV network. That was pretty scary. It's like, oh my God, I don't know if I want to do this after all. Or the times I've given speeches. The times that I don't even know right now. All these experiences that we have that we were ready to talk ourselves out of, but we realize that in that, it's only the fear. And we go and we do it, and it's amazing. It's amazing. You meet that right person that takes you to that next level. But because of your fears of, I'm not going to go to that because the last time I went, it didn't work out well, or any kind of those limiting experiences that keep you from stepping outside the comfort zone. Because just because it happened once doesn't mean, listen, goddesses, you're looking at a woman who was an escort, a prostitute. That's the proper word. I don't even know if there's a politically correct term. I don't even know if you would call it that. Escort is a prostitute, just so you know. And how many times did I go on a bad call, but I went back out to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. The night that I was assaulted in a driveway. Someone hit me across the face. Didn't see it coming. I still went back out. Now, of course, all of those experiences did create what some would label, and that's why I use these things, label PTSD. Things that would trigger. But then, dear goddesses, remember, I flew around the world by myself to meet a young man on the other side of the world. Because I surrendered. I trusted the universe. I didn't let my fear dictate my experience. I let my love. I let love guide me. And that was the best trip. Now, was it perfect? No, because come to find out, twin flames, we have this whole wound on wound game that likes to happen after activation phase. I'm like, thanks. So why the twin flame mention though? Because yesterday, the mentors that I follow in the twin flame category of my life here, which does feed into everything else, after the runner chaser phase, which is where we've been, definitely, is the surrender phase. And I went, of course it is. Of course it is. Because that's what this is about, goddesses. It's about being into that space of surrender and allowing life to flow through you. You are a creator here. In fact, it's not coincidental that of 263 recordings on this one, because I have two of these puppies, on this one device, the Abraham that I landed upon this morning was the one where they say, you didn't come for the creation, you came for the creating. You didn't come for the manifestation, you came for the manifesting. Because, goddesses, this is a journey. Perpetual, going, and growing journey. I love when Abraham says, you never get it done. You never get it done. So when the ego wants to sit there and say, you need to hurry, you need to worry, you need to stress, you need to be freaking out because, oh my God, TikTok. That's this. Okay. When you can look at a situation and you can see, for instance, say, because this is in my mind right now, say you have a medication that you get notified has been recalled and there's no alternative to it. What do? Well, you could feed negativity in your body and amplify the fear and go, oh my God, and do even more damage in your body and come from that space of illusionary control. Or you can say, you know, I'm just going to trust the universe on this. I'm just going to trust and surrender and say yes. And when I talk about trust, surrender, say yes, this is what it is for me. Is I trust myself, I trust the universe, because I know everything's always working out for me. 2, I surrender. I surrender to the flow that is this life. I surrender to the awareness of knowing that I do not have control over the outside world. And the only place I ever can have control over me, which that's me shifting into surrender mode. That's my self-control, right? Is saying, I'm done. Universe, you got this. I'm done. I'm going to go work on this project instead. And then let the universe serve you. Say yes to the universe. Yes, I trust you. Yes, I surrender. Yes, I am open to receive the blessings you desire to bestow upon me. Because I know I deserve them. I know I am worthy of them. I know you love me. Because the universe does love you so much that you exist. And there's only one of you. I'm here to tell you all, I know for certain that it's only in that illusionary space of control. Make that illusionary space of control is the thing that takes you out of yourself, that takes you out of alignment, because you're so focused on trying to control everything outside of yourself that what's happened is you are in like all these pieces everywhere. You're in chaos. You're scattered. Whereas instead you're like, no, wait. I'm choosing the experience I'm having here. So I'm going to surrender and let all of these things that I can look at and go, you know, where is my power in that moment? In here. By how I'm choosing to respond, what I'm choosing to focus on. Okay? That's where your power is, goddesses. That's a part of the surrender, is to get off the subject, to relinquish control where you have none, which is pretty much everything outside of you. You can only ever gain and maintain control over one thing in your life. One. That's you. Because as you gain more and more control over yourself, you become so much stronger in your being that even as empaths, because I recently did a card reading for a goddess who, she's a very highly sensitive empath who has not learned how to keep herself from absorbing everything around her. It's also important, this is why we purge, why we clear our system of these energies as well that we've absorbed. But old Rachelle, especially the one that was, because I was the prostitute that always attracted the handicapped gentleman. There was one, oh my God, I want to say he saw me for 3 years. For 3 years. And you don't know how many other girls would just hang up on him. He had one of those older computers where he had to use the computer to talk. I had a muscular dystrophy client who I had to actually pick up and put in his bed when I saw him. And so many of them, they were usually the victims. I want to tell you all that I want to say every single one of those men had been taken advantage of. Because you see, when we have a society that says all of that's wrong, which you'll never convince me that prostitution's wrong. You won't. And that's coming from someone who lived it. What is wrong about it is that that's considered the crime when there is so much real crime that happens in it that doesn't get reported. Because when I myself was assaulted that evening, there was a cop a block and a half away. I drove right past and I kept going home. Because for me, all I knew was that I was the criminal and I would get in trouble. I would get lectured because it was my fault. So you see how we create this social conditioning that says this stereotype is bad or this is... I'm here to tell you all. Human connection is one of our most primal needs. And having had those kind of clients, again, I say to you, you will never convince me that prostitution's wrong. You won't. I have to tell you, there was one time when I got called to a widower. I want to say he was maybe 70, 75. He had lost his wife 10 years earlier. And would you all believe that, of course you would, right? That he hadn't grieved her loss. He had felt so alone. All I did for an hour was hold that man like a baby so he could cry in my arms and mourn his wife. You will never convince me prostitution's wrong. What is wrong is that it's considered the crime. When you have perfectly good adults, perfectly just doing their best to find their way through this world, seeking out companionship where they can because of the society we've created that keeps us all so separate. I suppose this is a conversation for another day. I didn't know I'd go this way today, but you all know I tend to not usually know where the universe is going to take me each day on my live. I just pretty much know the topic, the subject matter, the actual content. So, dear goddesses, look at all the ways in your life that you are attempting to control your outside environment, while at the same time you can see that it's having a negative impact on your internal environment. Because we got dear Goddess Jennifer on here, and we know, right, Goddess Jennifer, how stress and anxiety and overwhelm and not paying attention to this has such a devastating impact on this mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. That's the whole root of the word disease, is dis-ease. Right? You are out of alignment with yourself. And when you surrender, it literally is like that moment where you just go, I give, and you fall back. You just fall back into that space. Visualize that. Visualize you throw your hands up and you just fall back onto clouds, into, ooh, this one's good, into angel wings. Into angel wings. All right, dear goddesses, I have a call with my assistant in 8 minutes. We dive deep into this surrender practice and intentional manifestation and self-love and amplifying that and really learning how to love yourself and connect with yourself and your power within. And we dive into this. I'm getting excited. Next Saturday for my 90-minute masterclass, Manifesting with Self-Love. So you really learn how to become a magnet for what you desire. You learn how to surrender that control because it's just an illusion. We go into the ways to where you find where your power is, so you be funneling your energy that way instead of hemorrhaging energy where your power is not, because that's what it is that we do. All right. That's in the events section. It is in the pinned comments. I am going to, and I didn't even tell the story about Ashley, so we'll do that later because I do have to do my call because it's a trip. In fact, maybe I'll do I'll post it, Ashley. I'll post the quick story with the picture of what you gave me. So that said, be sure to go check that out. It is free. It is free, this masterclass. We're going to go over the ways, all the practices. Like, I'm going to jam pack that 90 minutes. We will have a 30-minute Q&A after that. So it is marked for 2 hours. That's because of the Q&A that comes after. And I'm going to give you all the practices that I used to manifest my trip to India, my first ever international journey. I had no plans to travel anywhere. I didn't even have a freaking passport. And I bought the plane ticket first. And I didn't even have the money until 4 days into doing one of these manifestation practices, okay, that you will hear about. So that is next Saturday, the 14th. Like I said, it's free. We meet on Zoom. It's online. It is an online masterclass. You will have access to the replay link for just a few days. I do not plan on, having that out there exceptionally long. I want to actually reuse that, of course, repurpose that. So that said, beloved goddesses, be sure to check that out. Let me know when you are really ready to commit to doing the deep dive and committing to your journey so that you really can be in that space more and more empowered, more and more strength in your surrender, more and more allowing so that life happens through you because it does not happen to you. All right? Be more intentional with your journey. And that is what we do, intentional manifestation. All right? Check it out, December 14th. It's on Zoom, as I said. And remember, as always, my dear beloved goddesses, my inbox has an open heart policy. Please just reach out to me. I am here for you. Go create amazing, because that's what you are. The power is and always has been in your hands. I love you all so much. I'm truly, truly grateful for each and every one of you. I will be back here Thursday morning at our regular 9/11 time, which is our new time. And as I mentioned, I am putting up, I'll put it in the pinned announcements as well, that will be my live schedule. I know for the longest time I did 444 Pacific time. Things have shifted around in my life, obviously, and that's what we do. We adapt, we go, we grow. All right, beloveds? So 9/11, Thursday morning. For those of you who are like, why 9/11? I will go and get that, and I will pin that Facebook Live also to the announcements, so you can be sure to check that one out and say, oh, that's really cool. And Ashley's story is coming, so be on the lookout. And plus, that way I can share the picture that goes along with it. So be on the lookout for that post. All right, beloveds, go create amazing. You have all the power. I love, 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 love you. And I will see you soon. Namaste.